Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Toonztheretoucher and I'll be your anchor for this channel. So if you are coming across this channel, please like, comment and subscribe. Without wasting much of our time, let's get into today's work. If you are watching this video, I believe you have zero knowledge about camera raw as a beginner. But since you're having me here, I'm going to be explaining everything about camera raw to you. So this image is shot with a Nikon D750, and for you to be able to edit inside of camera raw, you have to have your image placed just like this. So when you have camera raw, you can see you have the whole details of the image being shot directly from the camera. That is why it is a raw picture. As you can see here, we have the ISO 100, shot with a 19mm lens, shot with an aperture of 3.2 and a speed of 1/125 seconds. So the first thing you have to notice in camera raw that you have the profile for camera raw, you have the Adobe color, you have the landscape, you have the portrait, you have the standard, the vivid, the adaptive black and white, and the Adobe monochrome. So when you're talking about the Adobe monochrome, it simply means when you click on the monochrome, it changes the whole perspective of the image from a colored image to black and white. So this is what it looks like when you choose an Adobe monochrome. And when you switch from Adobe monochrome to adaptive black and white, it gives you these AI settings, and you just have to wait for a little bit of time for it to apply what it is going to do. It is also going to give you a black and white. Then you can see you have the amount here. You can just take the slider down or up. So you taking it up, you see is adding to the exposure of the image. You just have to depending on what suits you. So there are other profiles that comes with camera raw. You have the color, you have the landscape. The landscape just helps you pop your image. You have the portrait, you have the standard, and all other profiles. When I come over to this icon here, this browse profile, we see different types of profile. I think we have more than 7 profiles that you can choose from. See, you can see the Adobe standard here, Adobe landscape. You have the Adobe neutral. It's just going to neutralize your image for you. See, you have the Adobe portrait. You have the standard. We are actually on the standard right now. We have the vivid. It's going to give your image more contrast. You can see the vivid. I actually love the vivid. I use the vivid and the landscape most times if I want to. Then you can see camera matching. You have another profile. You see, this one helps you to flatten your image. You can see the landscape. You have the neutral. You have the portrait. A whole lot of profiles inside the camera raw. We have a whole lot of profiles inside the camera raw. So that's the first thing I'll be putting us through inside the camera raw. And the next thing I'm going to be telling you is we have different icons inside of our camera raw. We have different icons. You can see we have this horizontal board right here. But if you like, you can decide to change it to vertical. You can see you'll be having the vertical slider right here. That's that on that. And we also have the cropping icon. You can use it to crop. When I put my icon on it, it's going to say, you see, crop, rotate, and geometry. Then here you can change the perspective of your image. Probably you have a full image right here. You can change it to 1:1, 4:5, which is the Instagram recognized size, so on and so forth. You can change the angle of your image. You can change it to whatever you like, so on and so forth. You can rotate it. These are the features inside of camera raw that makes camera raw very, very flexible. Then you can come over to your remove tool here. You can use it to remove any spot you like. Let's take for example, I actually want to remove this spot right here. all I have to do is just sample it, and it's going to remove it for me. You can see, very clean and effective. Although for me, I don't remove most of this spot inside of Camera Raw. I prefer to edit my images and remove the spot inside of Photoshop directly. But I'm just showing you the flexibility of Camera Raw. You can see that wasting much of our time. It's going to do the job for us. So you can see before and after. Before and this after. So these are the things you can do inside of Camera Raw that makes Camera Raw very flexible for you. And you have your before and after icon here. You can see your before and after icon, you have it there. So you also have your masking icon here, your masking tool. We are going to come back to this. So let's just go back to what we've been doing. So like I said, you can decide to make your orientation, the placement of your image inside the Camera Raw, probably vertical or horizontal. So now you have your lightning here. This is where you can make adjustments to the exposure of your image. So exposure dictates the intensity, the light intensity of your image. If I take my exposure all up, you can see my image is actually overexposed now, and if I bring it all down, my image is actually underexposed. But for us, the image is probably normally exposed. So I see no reason in tweaking the exposure of my image. I see no reason in tweaking the exposure of my image. But it actually depends on your choice. My own exposure might be different from your exposure. So that's how it basically works. So as we are advancing in this channel, I'll be showing us how we can use Camera Raw filter to process our raw image. This is just a mere introduction to Camera Raw. Then we also have our contrast. Our contrast, it dictates the dryness of your image. Yes, you can see if I take the contrast up like this, you can see how thick the image looks, and but if I drag it down, you will see how flat it looks. It's just like when we are choosing a flat profile under the profile the other time. So that's just the function of the contrast. When you take it up, you can see the difference right now. And the highlight helps you to retain details where they are lost. So if I take my highlight down, you can see that I have more details around the cheek. So let's zoom to the cheek and check the details around the cheek. You can see before and after. That's just the highlight before and after. It brings back all the details that have been lost in the image. So most times in an image, we bring down the highlights and compensate it with the shadow. Yes, we bring down the highlights and add to the shadows. So you can see the shadows is going to open up where we have shadows in the image. It's going to open it up, but when we bring it down, it's going to close it up. So that's the major function of the shadows. So you can see that. So that's the major function of the shadow and highlight. We also have our white here. White adds to the intensity of the white in the image, or when you take it down, it reduces the intensity. That's the basic function of white in an image. Same thing as black. It identifies where they are black color, and it helps you to add or reduce the black, like popping it out, something like that. That's just the major function of the lighting in Camera Raw. So coming out to the color, it helps you to dictate the type of tone you want for your image. That's the function of the color. It helps you to dictate the type of tone you want for your image. So we also have the color picker in the color arena that it helps you to decide an auto color tone for your image while working inside of Camera Raw. So you see, when you come over to your color picker right here and you pick the bright part of the image, so let's pick the eyes of the subject we are working on. So when you pick it like this, it's going to give you the tone of your image. So it has dictated the tone of your image. See the before and the after, before and the after. So we notice that it gives this image a blue tone alongside a greenish tone also. So the temperature of the image dictates it to bring it down to a bluish side, and also the tint of your image, it brings it out to a green side. So that's the major function of the color tab that we have right here, of the white balance. Yes, it's called the white balance. So let me take my color picker and take the darkest part of the image. You can see our eyeball right here is very, very dark. So let me pick it. So you can see that it gives this warm tone. Yes, it gives the warm tone. Warm tone gives the image a warm tone and adds to the green. So it adds to the temperature of the image and add to the tint of the image. Sorry, it reduces the tint of the image. So when we bring the slider down, it means we are reducing the magenta of the image. So that means we are adding to the greenish part. So if I continue to take it down here, it's going to be having this greenish look. But you know, you have to be very, very conscious of your image, not to tamper with the white balance. So depending on what you like, that's the actual function of the white balance. Then you can come to the effect depending on your choice. Actually, there is no certain way to edit a picture. My style might be actually different from your style, but you have to follow a chronological order. You have to follow a symmetrical order while editing. So see your texture, you have it under the effect. When you add to your texture, it gives your image this thick look. You see, that's the function of your texture. It's going to make your image very, very thick. But when you know that the image comes with its own texture already, so you just have to add a little texture to your image. Like I said earlier, in our next video or in our upcoming videos, we are going to be processing an image with a camera roll. So same to the clarity, it helps you to dictate the thickness. Like I said, all this texture, clarity, and the haze, they work together, they work hand in hand to give you a very good image. So that's that on effect. While talking about the vignage, when you reduce your vignage, it cools the image. It gives it this dark atmosphere, you can see. But when you add to your vignage, it gives it this whitish atmosphere. Actually, this vignage is used mostly while editing outdoor images, like images that have the sky. Yes, they help to cool it down. That's the function of the vignage. So while talking about the greens, also the greens, it helps to add this noisy look on our image. So when I zoom it, you see what I'm saying. You see this noisy look. See, before and after, before and after. So that's the major function of the green. So I skipped one earlier. I skipped the vibrance and saturation. So let me just reset. Let me reset to default so that I'll explain the vibrance and saturation to you. So for the vibrance and saturation, the vibrance helps you to balance all the colors. It makes them equal. Yes, it makes them equal. That's the function of the vibrance. So if I take the slider up, it will help you to balance all the color in the image. So let's take, for example, we have red color, we have orange color in an image. So let's imagine red color is not up to the amount of orange color. Vibrance is going to help you to make sure everything are equal. That's the function of vibrance. But saturation is the opposite. Saturation increases the intensity of all the image. Saturation does not care if red is equal with orange. It does not care if green is equal with blue. It does not care if magenta is equal with cyan. It just takes everything up. That's the function of saturation. So if I take my saturation up now, you see, you can see that it does not care about a color being equal to another color. It just takes everything up. That's the major function of saturation. So coming out to my curve, you can see the curve here right there. This is the neutral curve. It helps you to increase the intensity of your image, but it's just it differs from exposure because it has more power than exposure. That's the function of the curve. You can see has more power than exposure. That's the function of the curve here. So you can decide to reset all channel when you bring the curve down. See, reset channel, or probably you've worked on this, you come over to your red again and you increase it. You come over to your green, you just like play around with your curve. You have the ability to reset all channels. So that means, you see, this image is not looking fine, then I want to reset the channels of my curve. You can see, let's see toggle before and after. So let's just reset all channels, then it's going to go back to normal. So you just have to right click probably on your graphics tablet or your mouse and click on reset all channels. That's the actual function of curves. So it helps you to dictate the color tone. It's also used for color grading. So when we get more deeper into camera raw usage, I'm going to explain everything and it's going to make sense to anyone watching this video. So we have the color mixer. So we have the HSL adjustment layer. We also have the point color. These are features that comes with camera raw. Camera raw is actually very, very nice. So the point color is used to match a certain part of your body to make sure the color is the same with another part, with the whole part of the image. So let's take, for example, now I want to make sure the color of the nails is matching with the part of the body. So I just have to pick my color picker right here, click on it, and then take down my variance. See, when I take down my variance, I feel like it's too dull. I can take my luminance up, and if I feel like it's too much, I can just like take my saturation down. So that's the function of the point color. So as you can see now, the place the red color I picked on her nails is syncing and synchronizing well with the other part of the body. So let's see the before and after. See, before and after, before and after. So that's the function of the point color. That's the function of the point color. That's the function of the point color. So when you want to undo an effect in your camera raw, you just use Ctrl plus Z or Command plus Z for Mac users. So that's the function of the point color. Then when you come to your mixer tab right here, you know I told you about the HSL. I told you about the HSL adjustment. So for the HSL adjustment, you have the saturation, you have the hue, and you have the luminance. So saturation helps you to add to the color of the image, like it differentiates each colors and help you to control it. You can see we have the red, we have the oranges, we have the yellows, we have the greens, we have aquas, we have blues, purples, and so on. So imagine I want to add to the red color present on the image. So what saturation will do for me is look for where there is red in the image and increase the intensity of the red present on the image without affecting all other colors. So I have red here. I want to add to the intensity of my red. I take it like this. I pick it up, I increase the slider, and it's automatically adds to the red present in the image, so you can see it without affecting other colors. So that's the function of saturation slider under the HSL tab right here. So the same thing applicable to other colors while editing. So if I want to add to my oranges, I just have to take it up like this, and it's going to change the tone and increase oranges present in the image. So that's that on that. And when you're talking about hue changes the color to the opposite color. So you can see red here. If I add to my hue, that means I'm changing the color of the red present to oranges. So if I increase my oranges in the image, it's going to change the color of orange to yellow. If I add to my yellow, it's going to change from yellow to green, and so on and so forth. So hue just changes the color to the opposite color. So you see, when I increase my red, it changes to oranges. When I increase my oranges, it changes to yellow. So that's just how hue function. That's how hue function. That's how all other colors present in the hue, that's how they function. They just changes from their own color to the opposite color. That's like, when we have a color wheel, they just changes to the color directly opposite them. That's the function of hue. And then luminance, it increases the brightness or decreases the brightness of a certain color. So I want to make red very, very dull. I just have to bring it down, and it's going to look very, very dull. And then if I want to increase the intensity of red, the brightness of red, I just have to take it up, and it's going to look very, very bright. So that's the function of the color mixer tab. We also have our color grading tab. It's just helps us to adjust the intensity of the color. Like, you can use it to color grade your image. You can see I'm taking over to the blue side right now. So that's the function of the color grading. In our next and upcoming videos, we are going to be color grading very, very well with Camera Raw. So we have sharpening. You can add or reduce the sharpness of your image using the sharpening tab. So that's how it works. So when you increase the size of your image, you see that it looks more sharper than before. So we add to the radius, we see what I'm saying. See, before and after, before and after. So that's the function of adding to the sharpness of your image while editing inside of Camera Raw. So same thing applicable to this profile. Under these optics, you can decide to change the profile of your lens. Probably you see that this image was shot with a 90mm lens, and if I check my user profile, I have the ability to change it from default to auto or custom, or save new lens profile, different features. So it was shot with the Tamron lens, and I can change the model from probably Tamron 90mm, Tamron 150 to 600mm, different profile, different models that you can choose while working with Camera Raw. You can see that you have this flexibility with Camera Raw. We also have the lens blur feature. So we don't have anything to blur, so I'm not going to be using the lens blur feature. We have the calibration. Calibration also deals with color. Probably you want to color grade your image. See, I'll just take it up, take the blue up. When you take the blue primary, when you take the saturation up, it helps you to add to the popping of your image. So it helps you to pop your image and gives it this yellowish look. It adds to the color. So that's the function of the pro primary. And the green primary, the same thing. It basically works same way. So those are the function. So when you come to this more image settings, you can load settings. Probably you have a settings you want to load. So probably let me just like say I want to load a setting for my image right here. So you can see that I have some certain exemplifier here. So let me just double click on it. So you can see that it's going to see the settings from an image that I've worked on earlier. I just pasted it on this image. It's not perfect, but I'm just showing you the flexibility of Camera Raw. So you can reset to default. You can apply your previous settings. You can create a snapshot. You can create a preset. You can copy and edit. You can do all sorts of things inside of Camera Raw. You can even change the flexibility of your image. See, general and you can change all settings of your image. So probably your image is on 8-bit channel, you can change it to 16-bit channel. So that's how camera raw basically works. Thank you for watching till the end of this video. Toonztheretoucher is signing out and telling you to stay creative everywhere you go. See you in my next video, guys.